Alright, so for our usability report, our group chose to go more in depth on Yahoo. It's a website that most of us visit pretty frequently and just seems like it'd be something pretty interesting. Yahoo was founded in 1994 by Jerry Yang and David Philo. The site reaches nearly 700 million people speaking up to 30 different languages each month, and Yahoo actually stands for yet another hierarchical officious oracle, and it's still one of the leading web portals on the internet today.
So, in our evaluation, we decided to go over the major and minor problems of Yahoo. First off, we can start with one of the main things you can see on Yahoo is all the navigation bars. So, right now we have one, two, you can consider this one, it's the main navigation, three, and then right here, the news navigation, four. First of all, that's way too many navigations we felt as a group to have on one site. If we take a look at this one at the top here, we have our mail, news, sports, finance, etc. Now, if you look at the one to the left, it's essentially the same exact navigation bar with some animated images to the side of them. One thing we decided as a group that could benefit Yahoo is if we got rid of this one here on the left. And the reason we decided the one on the left would be good to get rid of is because if you scroll down Yahoo, the top one with the search bar stays with you the entire time, and so does the one on the left, but the top one has the search bar. So overall, it's the more effective of the navigations between those two. As a group, we decided we really liked the navigation right here for the news stories because it kind of lets you personalize what you're looking at specifically. So right here, if you wanted to look at just regular old news, you click on that and you have your news stories. Let's say if we wanted to get Lubbock local news, we'd click on the local tab, and sure enough, we'd have Texas themed articles and stuff from places like the Avalanche Journal or KCBD lower down the scroll bar. Let's say you're a sports fan, you wanted to get just a more sports orientated page. You click the sports tab, all of a sudden you have your scores here on the right, and then your sports stories just going on around the world down here. So we decided this was a really good navigation bar and that this is one that Yahoo definitely needed to keep.
Overall, our group decided that Yahoo has improved tremendously over the past few years, but we still think it's a pretty busy website and it's pretty cluttered. When I log on to Yahoo, my eyes go straight to this main navigation bar here. Our group discussed and think that it's eye-appealing to the user because it has pictures and it has short descriptions of the article that you're about to read. When you scroll through the stories here on the main navigation bar, if you scroll through here and you get 4 or 5 deep and you find one that you want to click on, you can click on it and you can read what you wanted to read, and then going back you can just go back and this navigation bar takes you back to the original story that you clicked on instead of having to scroll back through all of the stories and find which one that you were looking for. And on this, the stories here underneath the main navigation bar, if you scroll down and keep going, you can literally keep going for days. There's stories and it seems unending at times, but the one useful tool that we thought was useful right here, if you click here, it takes you all the way back to the top instead of having to scroll all the way back to the top and find your starting place.
Alright, so for the overall look of the site, they have a pretty basic look, which can be an advantage and disadvantage for the site. As far as their colors go, we thought that the simple purple and white contrast pretty well with each other, like in the Yahoo symbol right here. It contrasts well against this white background, but we also thought it was kind of weird that they used the blue color for their search bar right here. We thought maybe if they would have incorporated the purple, it would have just kept the flow of the site relatively the same. We also thought that they use a lot of white space, and that can be both good and bad. It's good because it can take away from a lot of this clutter that you can clearly see everywhere on this page, but it is also bad because it doesn't incorporate the colors of the site, such as the purple. One thing I thought that they did well was use this blue color for each headline. I think that it kind of helps the headline stand out from all the clutter on the rest of the page, and that's good for users because it allows them to scroll through each page quickly and briefly while also being able to catch and read each headline story. Um, like I said, the overall look of the site is very cluttered and can also be very confusing. They have a top and a side navigation bar, and it kind of just makes it hard for viewers to know which one of these to choose from or whether or not there's a difference in the two. Um, Another disadvantage of the look of the site is the trending now and today's headlines. They have them on the top right corner of the page, which is the first page or part of the page that my eye looks at. But then they also have scrolling images right in the middle that can just kind of distract you from what you originally started looking at when you turned to the page. Or also something that Yahoo has not done in the past is have each of these different boxes, which kind of helps with the clutter of the page. It just kind of helps keep it organized and gives readers just kind of a spot to keep on the page. And one main suggestion that we had is maybe moving this weather tab up to the trending now area, just because most people would rather care to know about the weather than what's currently trending around the world.
One of the other major things that we noticed is the repetitiveness of all the news stories. So now you look at today's headlines. These are the more recent stories that have come out. But by the time you get down to the 4 and 5 spot of today's headlines, these headlines have already made it into the main navigation, where the news stories have already been covered in more depth. Also, you'll find news stories down here in this scroll bar that are also represented in the top headline box or in the today's headline box. It's just repeating a lot of the same news stories, and same thing goes with the trending now. Most of the time you'll find stuff that's in the trending now also in the main navigation, just depending on how quickly Yahoo gets it updated. So to have all these different sources of headlines and news, this seems a bit repetitive. So I think there's something you can get rid of, maybe today's headlines, or not necessarily get rid of them, but figure out a way to make it different from the main navigation news or this news right here, because when the user has a chance to look at 4 different sections of news stories, it can get confusing and it can get kind of lost in translation of which news stories are most important. So we feel like that could be something that Yahoo could work on and fix as well.
So overall, our group came to the conclusion that Yahoo is, like a very busy and cluttered website, but they are still one of the leading websites that people go for their news. They're one of the leading ones in the world, so obviously they're doing something right.